Hello everyone, welcome to another IT Career Talk with professionals, and today I have with me an IoT technical product owner and analyst. But before we begin, please don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and notification bell. So my guest today is Miss Michelle Ann, or also known as Mitchie, Tabirao. Good day, Michelle.
Hi, Rafi. Nice seeing you again, and thanks for inviting me here.
Thank you so much also. So, Michi, you have a very long title. Maybe you can start off by describing to us your position or your role.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Rafi. So, yeah, I have a very long title. It's called IoT Technical Product Owner and Analyst. But in a nutshell, I'm a product owner. So, like all other people within like a Scrum team and working in a Scrum team, I stand like as a product owner within the team. So, what this product owner does and what do I do in my everyday job?
Mhm.
So, as a product owner, I have to make sure that I work collaboratively both for the business perspective and the technical perspective. On the business perspective side, I have to make sure that I have a clear product vision and mission, where we are heading at, what is the benefits of developing such features for our product. And then on the technological side, I work collaboratively with the team, our development team, our architects, and our designers on making sure that all the requirements that comes on the development of our product goes as smooth as possible in the overall DevOps process. So it's just that my product that I'm handling right now is highly technical in the Internet of Things landscape. And that's the reason why there's a technical and IoT technical ish description in my job title, plus an analyst, because in my day to day job as well, I have to analyze multiple of use cases before we implement them. So yes, that's mainly what I do. And the product that I own currently right now is an industrial IoT platform, wherein it's a one single platform for the overall IoT implementation within the company I'm working at. So yun.
Right, right. As as an product owner and analyst, a question here is, what usually are the skills? Like, kung resume pa to, ano yung kailangan na sa loob ng resume mo to qualify for this position?
Yeah, I think for the product owner role, there are multiple of skills, and mag-focus na muna tayo dun sa product owner itself. So it has a lot of soft skills by itself.
Mhm.
So for example, leadership and management is very important because you'll tend to work with different stakeholders within your space. So my business stakeholder ka who knows the use case, you have to understand those use case and have to translate it in a way na it can be readable
Right.
by everyone when it comes to the vision of the product and where you're heading at. And then you have to talk to multiple stakeholders. You have to know how to talk to the business stakeholders, the users, the people who are gonna use the product in a non very techy manner, because it's all about UX, UI, and how they can leverage from the product that you're using. And then you will also be able to talk to the technical team and your developer team on how you would like to implement this. And since the product that I am in is a very highly technical, we talk about device IoT implementation, network, cloud, analytics, end-to-end product solution. You should be at least be able to know those basic topics and baseline topics, so you can actually have a flow and discuss topics by itself. But for me naman, is that it's not that I know this all. It's just that in the day-to-day job, you get to learn things, both technical and business. And then you get to realize that, oh, I got to drive both topics pala. So in general, I think if you're a newbie or a new joiner or something like that, I have heard a lot of people that evolve to a product owner position when they started like as a business analyst, for example, or a scrum master, because those positions can also help you move up to, if you wanted to be in the product management realm, because now you know how to do operate in a scrum manner, but also the way you manage the stakeholders. And then if you're a business analyst, it's one of the highly prerequisite of a product owner that you got to write the use cases, you got to write the vision of the product, you got to write the benefits of why you are doing this, and you got to be able to relate to the users. And business analysts and IT analysts does that as well. But I've also seen a lot of people na they have evolved to becoming a product owner from being a developer before, because it's also a niche that you got to be able to talk to the developer, manage and help them, and then you got to relate how to implement them. So marami yung pwedeng skills na pwedeng panggalingan kung ano ka, kung gusto mong maging product owner.
You yourself, you mentioned that there's some developers that end up being the product owner. Do you yourself, do you have coding or scripting requirement for your current work? And if so, what
Yeah.
what stack or what scripting languages do you use?
So maybe for me, like I can categorize it to two muna. So there are product owner that like is really business related. What I meant by that is that they are the people who previously was, knowing the process and they have been there. And then they can revolutionize how the process should improve through technology. May ganun din na hindi mo talaga din kailangan talagang maging technical.
Right.
Pero on my side, it's a technical product owner. So having a technical capability and being able to drive technical discussion is really a plus. Kasi you get to relate also with the people you're working at and the people who's doing the product. Ang sabi nga nila, you bring the engineer as close to the user to be able to make sure that you develop the best solution for your user. And that's being practiced na rin sobra ngayon sa different enterprise. And me, I'm a computer engineer, so I graduated in PUP in 2014. And that time, me and my best friend used to join to hackathons and this. So I used to code. And then I got to do a lot of coding experience at school and then firsthand in my job as well. But then I got to evolve more kind of like a community leader that time in the latter on in my career. And then when I went to Europe for my master's, I took up both technology and management. So may mga classes na you'd have to do a lot of technical stuff, and then there's a classes where you have to do business models. So ayun, I can say na I have a hands-on, but it's been a while since the time I have been coding. But as a product owner, I continuously upskill myself, at least. So like I take a lot of both business and technical courses. So hindi man I'm not the person who codes for our product, but I got a first-hand experience of it by doing such, yung mga how to deploy in the cloud, or how do we use Azure, for example, for doing a couple of databasing script, or how do we ingest data in IoT Hub. I have my first-hand experience and I know how to do it because I wanted to always upskill myself. I'm not the one who's committing code within our product, but I'm very happy that, I got to do that all the time with them and for my personal upskilling. So yun, continuous naman. Pero yung hardcore coding, no, because I think I don't see myself doing that anymore currently. I'm more passionate on product creation, creating of product vision, being the glue within the team by through collaboration. So yeah.
And for our audience's purposes lang, na baka they're curious lang, because it's the IoT space. Usually, Para lang, ano yung programming languages are usually used in the IoT space? Is it mostly Python? Is it mostly Java? So that they have an idea lang on what your company uses.
Yeah, that will be very, very broad topic kasi nga we have different solutions within the IoT space. So maybe I can give like an end-to-end implementation so it can be understood by the viewers. So say for example, you would like to collect the cargo condition ng ng goods na nagta-travel from Catanduanes to Manila.
Right.
So what you wanted to do is to put some IoT device there that can collect data in real time. And so if I'm the owner of those goods, I can see those data in near real time na, okay, I am sending banana from Catanduanes to Manila. They are in good condition and right temperature, right humidity and all. And that itself is a very long process of technology implementation. You have to think about the network and the approach. 3G, 4G, 5G ba yan? And there's technology behind that needs to implement that. And then sa device itself, yung mga firmware na ide-deploy mo dun sa mga IoT device na nasa mga firmware na nade-deploy mo. Yeah. So sometimes it's in C kasi yun talaga yung mga development stack for hardcore devices and all sa mga embedded system. Tapos when we have to get the data in near real time and have to be in a cloud infrastructure that can host this. So doon na pumapasok kung ano yung cloud provider nyo as a company. It can be an Amazon, can be in Microsoft. So if you're choosing Microsoft, for example, or Azure, then a lot of .NET development needs to be done there. Tapos you have to when you got the data, we have to make sense out of that IoT data. Then you have to really understand what is the database solution na gagamitin mo. So, depende yan sa use case. Kunwari, sabihin ng user, kailangan ko ng near real time. Oh, hindi ko kailangan ng near real time. Gusto ko, it's fine to have a little bit of delay. So, maraming consideration na naman depende sa use case. Pwede kang yung mga komportable sa SQL, ginagamit namin yan, or no SQL. Ang daming mga lumalabas ngayon ng mga GraphDB, nagiging na siya, usable sa mga IoT use case especially kasi ang dami mong source ng data. Tapos, ngayon, syempre, parang nag-evolve kami sa AIoT, Artificial Intelligence of Things. So, ngayon, si Edge, nagiging parang very famous. So a lot of technology stack on that. Sometimes we use Python, sometimes we use whatever Microsoft related solution na you can build on Edge and .NET coding then ganun. Tapos, pag mag-analytics ka na, I have a lot of colleagues that's using Python, of course, but of course you have to reconsider what type of solutions you are using. So, and also sa big data. So if you think of like the IoT itself, there's always a space. So kung titingnan mo yung area na yon, so para kang nag-take up ng computer engineering in general, sabihin mo, passionate ka sa network, go on with LoRaWAN, with M2M communication, or you can just go with 5G, 3G, 4G, or whatsoever they have. Go on with that. But then you can also be very passionate in cloud. Tapos you use all this cloud infrastructure to run your IoT solutions or platform as a service. Pwede ka ring, but meron din kaming mobile app. So all the technology stack that can create a mobile app. So ayun, sobrang dami.
Yeah, so
there's no one single thing.
Yes, so there's really a smorgasbord of a lot of technologies needed right now. So there's really a lot of, I would say, job opportunities because I don't think one person can master all of that, and so it's really a team effort in the end. You mentioned a
Yeah,
little bit.
definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
You mentioned a little bit about, your passion. Is there other passion items that you are currently working on, whether it be in the IoT space, your current work, or even outside work?
Yeah, so this year, we have launched a new nonprofit organization na niregister namin dito sa Denmark, but catering a lot of benefits for our Filipino youths. It's called ulap.org. So we are a nonprofit organization that we wanted to help underrepresented youths in the Philippines to grow in the field of technology. So for this year, we're focused on the cloud computing, but who knows how it will expand and how technology will evolve in the future. Um, yeah, so we're offering scholarships for underrepresented youth. Unfortunately, the deadline is already done, so we're in the process of getting our scholars. But we have a lot of events, so I um, everything is in our website, www.ulap.org. So I'm really happy with that passion project kasi it's really close to my heart. Technology and innovation is actually really close to my heart. I really get excited when I heard new things in tech. Maybe I can consider myself Jane of all trades kasi nga
Right.
sobrang na-excite lang talaga ako kung ano yung bago and yung reason behind why they are there. And to be able to have a platform to share those technology and innovations is such a very fulfilling feeling for me na we got to reach out to underrepresented youths, for example, for scholarship, and for everyone who's just very curious about tech currently right now. So yun.
Yeah, that's a great initiative, no? Especially as you mentioned, it's giving also opportunities to other people who might not have discovered that opportunity or not access that opportunity. Speaking of getting started in tech, so our audience will be curious how you started, no, with your tech. You already mentioned that you already touched a little bit on your course and then your careers. So maybe just a couple of questions. No? So first is, did you always want to be in tech? Like, when you're back in high school or K-12, was this something that you
Mhm.
are always like, oh, I really want to be in computer engineering or in the IT
Mhm.
space, right? Or what
Yeah.
was that influenced by your family, parents? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. I feel kind of old now because di ko naabutan yung K-12. I hope I did, Rafi. But when I started, paano ba? Did I like tech as soon as possible? No, not really. So I came from a small island in the Philippines called Catanduanes na mas marami pa yung bagyo when I'm small than the number of computers that I have seen in my entire life. So, I got to have an access to computers siguro mga grade 5 kasi nga but we go to the city center and then my father will buy me this floppy disks so I can touch the computer, explore the desktop,
Right.
tapos open the paint and then save your artwork in paint. I started like that.
Mm,
And I remember myself getting really excited about the fact that I can experience a computer. But till high school, I still need to go to the city center. I have to travel 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers to be able to access a computer, access the internet kasi wala pa yun sa town namin.
yes.
So yung na-discover ko, marunong pala ako mag-HTML dahil sa Friendster. Pero hindi ko na rin naman alam na nagko-coding na ako
Right,
noon
right.
that time. So when I was looking for an opportunity, the original plan is to go out of the island so I can experience a different way of living. And then I just discovered it from my cousins that they took up computer engineering, and I said, "Oh, there's no computer engineering sa Catanduanes, so I'll take that up." So wala talagang masyadong thought process. And then up until I came to the course, and then we started making power supply from scratch, maghihinang ka ng PCB, maglalagay ka ng mga capacitor, diodes,
Right.
etc. Yung typical computer engineering students. And that time, I kept on asking myself, do I really like this? Because I really met a lot of amazing classmates who's very good in all the things that they have done that I feel very intimidated. May isa na sobrang galing sa hardware, sa circuits, and then may isa na sobrang galing sa programming. And I was like, I need to do a lot of efforts before I even become better.
Right.
So yun, maraming thought process up until I met the open source and the open source values that I kind of look at it as more kind of like, wow, that's revolutionary when it comes to values and the progress on innovation that you can do. So when I met open source, then I met my passion for technology because I said, ang amazing naman, you can do everything in open source. You can share it and people can build things on top of it. And then that started my open source advocacy and tech advocacy. Then I started liking the Linux. I started liking blockchain because of the decentralization and the way we can build things on top of it. I started liking all the things on top of it that you can build on open source. Well, in fact, you can actually build a lot of things in open source, and that's the source of a lot of innovations currently right now. And that's where it all started. And that's the only time I've known that I'm passionate for technology because of open source.
Right. Right. So, was this still during college period, or was this even post college?
College siya.
College.
So, fifth year, fourth year to fifth year.
Right.
I thought curiosity lang din kasi nakita ko sa balita na may Raspberry Pi. So,
Mm-hmm.
card-sized computer siya. So, sabi ko, bibilin ko yung Model A na yan. So, naging namin siya, IoT project. Then, nag-serve siya as a server, but also like the app runs on it for our thesis project. Yun, yung grupo namin nung college, we created like an IoT solution that can collect data from solar panels so we can monitor how optimized we can use our solar panels and photovoltaic cells. So, ayun, dun actually nag-start yung IoT ko. um, IoT part
Journey.
ng career ko. Oo.
Right. And just a couple more questions. One of the major areas or major, I would say, checkpoint in life is picking your first, or at least getting your first job, right? How did you choose, or how did you land your first job?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So when I choose my first job, I went through what I want. So actually yung money, yung what skills I have, I didn't fully assess it. I just look for what I want, and that time I really like open source.
Yes.
So I applied sa 8-layer technologies kasi si Mr. Merrick Mara, he is one of the creator of one Linux called Kahel OS that went and was approved by Linus Torvalds, and I cannot find anything more that is open source advocate that time. And I see a lot of opportunities to learn in open source realm. So I applied there, and I said I just wanted to work in open source because that's what I like. And then we got to create an umbrella part of the company which just advocates for the use of open source, and I really like it.
Right. So you went for your, in that sense, your parang passion or what you're interested in, and you were able.
Yes.
You got the job. Again, I mentioned the last few questions na lang. Pahabol. How do you feel about migration and remote working, especially since I know, as you mentioned, you are in Denmark. No? How did you land that job? Did you always want to go out of the country? Was it more like, oh, it just so happened to be there? Especially you took up masters as well, right? So maybe you can tell us why Denmark, or maybe why take that master opportunity outside the country.
Yeah, so I worked a lot with Philippine tech community in my first 2 years after I graduated. That I feel like there's so much things to learn, and that drives me to take up my masters actually. But then when I said to myself, I'll take masters, why not look for opportunities outside the Philippines para ma-explore ko yung pagiging like more kind of like thinking global. Hindi ko alam, but pumasok lang talaga yung idea. And I started looking for opportunities abroad and scholarship because I cannot pay for my own for a master's abroad. So I need to get a scholarship. And yeah, luckily I got a scholarship. So then I migrated in Europe. And then when I was in Europe, I was still doing a lot of part time work. And then I got the full time work on the same company while I'm working part time.
Right.
So ayun, and happens to be staying here in Denmark na and in Europe in general for more than 4 years. So far, so good. How I feel about migrating and all, I think it's really nice. I got to learn that technology and innovation has no boundaries when it comes to where you work at, especially what COVID has taught us. But at the same time, there's no boundaries then on how we can help the Philippines kasi yun din nga yung sinasabi nila pag nag-abroad, maybe you weren't be able to, keep your feet on the ground and being able to help the community where you belong before. And I feel like through technology, it kind of say that wherever you are in the world, parang you can also actually reach out to the Philippines and the people you really care about and your passion towards the community. And that's what I have had learned moving abroad and staying in love with the country where I came from.
So,
So, ayun.
so maybe if for our audience lang din, no, if there any tips that you can give in terms of getting a scholarship abroad, especially for masters. So correct me if I'm wrong, no? You got a scholarship, then student visa because of that,
Mm-hmm.
and then while having that student visa, you were employed and then converted that to working visa, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yes, and then so again, back to the question is any tips on finding that scholarship? Because maybe other people are also looking for, and
Mm-hmm.
like Ulap.org is giving scholarships naman, hindi naman masters, but at least a sense of scholarship pa rin. But for masters level and going abroad, no, I'm thinking at the time baka wala pang edukasyon.ph kung nasaan may scholars, may list of scholars din and study abroad. How did you find that, or parang tips lang for our audience who might be interested in the future to do that also?
Yeah. I think the tip is first and foremost is you have to decide. That was like decision, and then you have to stick on that decision. When I decided that I wanted to study abroad, I know that I would love to, but I didn't know when, but I know it will come. So, ayun, after you decided, I found a study buddy. Hi, Ads. Thank you for all your help. He is my study buddy that time. We were supporting each other a lot. We started applying for Shivening. I think it's in London based. But then Ads started researching a lot, and he actually discovered Erasmus Mundus, and he introduced me to the scholarship that I got. And thanks to him, because I have a study buddy, and then we realized that there's a lot of requirements, IELTS, the English examination and all, and we do it together. He prints a lot of my my manuals and test exams, because we are buddies when we were looking for scholarship abroad. And then just never give up attitude. I think I've also received uh, uh, a rejection email, for a scholarship, but that also means that you can reuse a lot of your work to other scholarships then. So you will be surprised that there's a lot all over the world that offers scholarship for Filipinos. Europe itself has European Union Erasmus Mundus Plus, which contains a lot of master's degree program from technology, biology, science, architecture, you can name it all. So different domains that you can go. And then USA has a lot of scholarship. Then Japan and all over the Southeast Asia has a lot of scholarship that you can look at. And some of them are even just exchange students and all. But I chose masters that time. So yun, you just need to decide and never give up, and you have to commit on it even you decide.
Right.
So yun.
Right. So my last question here now is, in summary, no, what's your final advice to people who want to follow in your steps, or be as successful as you in general, or just be successful in the IT career field?
Mhm.
Parang how to be you po. Parang yun yung common na
Ganun ba?
lingo no, no? Yun yung lingo, how to be you po. Parang how to be
May
successful.
ganun ba? Yeah, I think it's quite relative to define success. I think for me, it's just that whatever makes you happy, you can, you can be successful. If that can be appreciated by others, it's a plus. But if you're happy and you think that you're successful by your own, and even though no one sees that, then you're successful. So for me, I just go to decisions that makes me happy. I think.
Right.
And then I was just surprised that maybe some other people thinks that that is success on their eyes, and I'm really grateful that what I think that I have had done that makes me happy looks like a success for others. Is a success for them nga. Yeah, then I'm happy with that. But and if people get inspired by what I've done, then I don't know what I did actually, but I just go for whatever makes me happy, I think.
Right.
Yun lang.
So audience, no, I hope you were able to catch some tips, some experience, some grain of truth in what we've done so far here. Choose to be happy. I think yun yung, for me, yung pinaka main na
Yeah.
nakuha ko, no? Choose to be happy. Follow what makes you happy, yung interest mo nga. Baga, and things will follow, no? So, Mitchie, before we end, do you have any last shout outs or invites to our audience?
Yeah, keep on following YoungCTO. This is really a good place to like share professional work, professional life, and we've been inviting a lot of amazing people. But at the same time, we're looking for volunteers at ulap.org. We're quite new, so we're really needing some helping hands so we can help each other, on spreading digital literacy for our youths. But keep posted also with next programs that we have if you just wanted to, attend our events and all. We're just very grateful to have you, Rafi, as one of our partners in AWS Philippines. We're really grateful for it. And it's the same, we work for community, we do it for our free time and leisure time, and I hope everyone that are interested to the technology and the advocacy that we are giving to the society helps you as a person, your personal growth in the future. So yeah, visit ulap.org if you wanted to volunteer.
Right. Thank you so much, Mitchie, no? And audience, that's a wrap. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thank you.
And of course, if you like our content, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell.